That should be right. So far, the good thing about all this is that because I've like changed the setup of how my computer is and everything for the new room and all, um, in rearranging the guest room into a bedroom for me, trying to find places for everything that was in there, there was this big like padded armchair that they had for guests. So that's now my computer chair. So I'm like sitting reclined with the mic set up to like come down over my head. It's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's like the most comfortable piece of furniture you've had in like years at this point, then, isn't it?
I mean, pretty much the only furniture I've had in years.
I don't know. Welcome back to civilization, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there was like a little mini dresser with drawers in here. And I was looking at it like, what the fuck I do with this?
It's like Tarzan situation where I'm like, ooh.
Right. Yeah, like poking at a spoon.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say, like, what is this for again?
Yeah. The other thing is, for whatever reason, years ago, mom got this idea to to take the doors off of the little closets that are in rooms, you know, which is the little folding doors. She and my dad took all the doors off of the new house and just made them a little bit extra room in the room. And they set like the guest room up so that there's a TV mounted on the wall in that little closet alcove. And so I set my computer and everything up in that alcove. And now if I can figure out if my graphics card can support a third monitor, I'll have a monitor up above. The other two, and it's just this command station. That's kind of great. Yeah.
Yep. I also relocated my office into the very back room of the house.
Oh, back where? Are you guys still at the place that I was at?
No, this is a different place. Not too far from it, but I was in this room that connected the kitchen to the like the laundry room and the back bedroom. And now we've just taken everything out of the back bedroom that isn't mine, and we've made this my office. And yeah, so there's like 2 doors between and 2 rooms basically between me and the rest of the house. I'm gonna put some soundproofing material up on the walls. That'll be fun.
Yeah, that's fun for it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I saw the decent. I think there's a pack of like, I don't know, 10 or 12 or so for like $10.
What in the hell is going on? I'm sorry.
A what?
I'm sorry, guys. The audition's being weird for me. Probably because I was mixing something else earlier. Okay. Yeah, you know, that best of the 80s and 90s thing.
I got one there ordered today because your mixtape is so fire.
How'd you know?
Because that's the joke. That's the mixtape joke.
I wonder what actually ever happened to the mixtapes I made in middle school. It doesn't matter. Who cares? A little bit. I mean, because there are songs that there's probably songs on there that not only do I not remember the name of, but there are probably songs on there that I don't remember being on there and that I haven't heard in years. And I would
absolutely tell my like I had the cities of colors who got into big like the red and blue and the green. You can absolutely tell when I ran out of songs that the moon that I was going for because I got from like, hey, this is all this crap now to like a train. Like I literally just filling the space at the end of the city with whatever I felt like sitting on there. I was like, Jesus, that's taking a abrupt turn.
I was the opposite. Like if there was some space left over and it didn't fit the mood, I was just like, I guess it's just going to be a 10-track disc then.
Yeah, we were good for that.
All right, everybody.
to just put like an album from artists, just like the entire thing in order, only those tracks under the disc. No mixtapes, just straight up copies of the albums. Yeah. Any variety, type of life and all that.
Okay, everybody get ready to sync on 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Last time on Hot Nights Hot Lead, you drove back from Gainesville with the intent of finishing out this business with Kiss and attempting to track down, if not the source, then the next link in the chain. Cherry revealed that she had received a text from her ex, Derek, and Derek was attempting to squeeze her for free samples of Kiss, basically. And he threatened to tell Teddy that you guys were all narcs if you didn't comply. So you staged a very convincing little piece of theatricality, which intimidated Derek and made him piss himself. And he ran off like sobbing, like, "Oh, I'll never mess with you guys again," into the night. The next day, Becky, under the guise of Raquel, met up with Teddy on the Emory campus. Travis and Layla disguised themselves as students and bought a couple of samples of Kiss. Katrina, the ghost, rode along with Cherry and used her ghostly powers to put Teddy into a sort of blissful fugue state. So he basically passed out for a few hours. When he woke up, he was like really kind of panicking, like, what happened? And, essentially the story you guys were going to go with was like, you passed out and I sold the rest of the Kiss. You want to be stupid. Right. Okay. And Roy got a call from his business partner Hank that someone was that a lot of the purchases from the shelters, like a lot of the animals were being purchased from the shelters or rescued from the shelters. I honestly don't know how it works because I've never done the process myself. And typically that would be the sort of thing where like Roy or Hank, I guess, go to the rescue shelters fairly frequently to pick up new trainable animals. And Hank's like, well, that's weird because now there's a shortage of them. Like, I'm going to all these different rescue shelters all around town and there's just no animals to be had. Even the ones that we wouldn't normally use as rescue dogs or seeing eye dogs or what have you. Various kinds of disability animals. That's about all that happened last time. Do you guys have any? You also found out that the owner of the storage unit where all the rots and also the dead bodies were being kept, a guy by the name of Zachary Ashwood, was arrested on charges of human trafficking, arson, and, multiple counts of first-degree murder. And the owner of the storage facility where the units were was brought in for questioning by the Alachua County Police Department. Or Alachua County Sheriff's Office? Police Department, yes. Yeah. Okay, do you guys have any questions?
I wasn't listening. Can you do that again?
Okay, so you guys woke up to find Roy had hanged himself.
Yeah. Roy wakes up with a bang from the elbow. Pretty sure we covered that before on James Charity did the big reveal about his dad. And also, I think there was something about the kid.
Yeah, it's like when the Jesus was growing, not cleaning up our messes, so to speak.
Yeah, Trevor McNamara, the kid from the storage unit in season 1, is still in jail for something he definitely didn't have any intention to do. So, Becky is, I think she's putting some money on an attorney for him.
Using her dad's attorney, which means getting in touch with her dad, which is supposed to be her baby.
Right.
And then she and Jerry found out about their mutual body issues. This is not description. It's true. The ending sounds right. Yeah, that's why the band on Becky moment, but I'm turning to even more awkward Becky Roy moment.
Right, and then it was the sitcom moment. Yeah.
That would have been, oh my god, that would have been hilarious.
It would have to be like the, I don't know, one of them like opens their mouth to say something, the other one puts their finger like,
Yeah, I have no idea if you open their mouth.
What? So, well, like, I can. The thing is, there are so many different outcomes. Like, if Vandal had come back and knocked for a second time, then Becky opens the door and goes in for the kiss, and then, you know, who knows? It goes from there. Right. Or alternatively, Roy comes in, Becky opens the door, does the kiss, then opens her eyes, realizes it's Roy, but then also realizes there's kind of a weird chemistry like between them, mentor-student thing, and then they just sort of go with it. Yeah. And then, like, third alternate ending, Cherry comes by, and it's like, hey, are we out of Pop-Tarts? And, like, Becky accidentally goes in for the kiss, and then, like, that happens, and, like, fuck it. Let's, you know, like...
I like to imagine that in each scenario that actually ends up with, you know, the two going back into the room, I like to imagine that like at the staircase, everybody else's head like popped up. And it's each other person and then each dog.
Yes, it does.
So, I was actually checking my voicemail. I had missed calls and I gave you that. But right at the end there, you recap just where we left off immediately?
We left off immediately with basically Raquel and Teddy are at Teddy's car, and Teddy's just like coming out of his ghost funk. And he's like, okay, what happened? How did I get you? Yes.
Dan's
okay. All right. So let's just start with like Teddy waking up. Just what happened?
You're kind of in and out on me there.
Teddy squints his eyes and then blinks them hard a few times, and then they come back into focus on Becky / Raquel. And he's like, what happened? Did I fall asleep?
Yeah, we did the coffee shop thing again, but this time we were landed on to the couch. And so we made it back to the car, and then you were gone, man. So I just decided to try and clear out the rest of the stuff I could. I mean, let's not waste a good day, you know?
He frantically searches his pockets for his phone, and he checks the time, and his eyes go wide. He's like, "Oh, fuck! You hold up. You sold the rest of it?"
I mean, not all of it, but kind of been fun for not having, you know, the mentor over my shoulder there. She didn't seem to like that. She's like, I obviously don't need your help with this, but thanks anyway.
You see beads of sweat forming on his face, and he is like kind of breathing heavier to steady himself.
That's fine. You're not going to bounce out of me again, are you? I mean,
No. Look. Bob cannot find out about this. Okay, it would be very bad. Okay, so I need you to not ever mention this at all. And
let you fall asleep for hours at a time, or did I manage to do the job without you?
no. That's okay. So if I tell Bob that you sold, most of it to, random passersby plus a few connections you had, and you did an amazing job. If I give you a 5-star Yelp review on your job here, can we just keep this between us?
I mean, don't oversell. Not that I'm not that good.
No.
But, you know what? I'm sure this happens to everybody.
No.
She didn't rent and stuff out of the car without letting him get another word.
Okay, I'll talk to Bob, and I owe you big time. Yeah. I'll call you as soon as I know something. And then, yeah, he sort of sits in his car for a few minutes, and then he backs out very slowly and drives away.
I look around for the crew and try to eyeball Sherry and see kind of where everybody's gathering.
Let's see. Sherry had been watching from a distance because Katrina was attached to her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Roy texts, because we're all listening in with the conference call being set up. Roy texts Becky a nearby, street address for her to come when they're ready to get back again.
Becky replies with a kind of crying laughter emoji.
Roy looks at his phone, debating emoji or LOL, and he just eventually is like, I don't know what the kids fucking do, and just tries to do.
Sherry's kind of like, I presume you didn't text her. She knows the plan, so just going to continue to follow Becky a little bit, but I want to seem like I'm, with her, so I was playing a little bit back. Becky kind of grabs the super cute little twirl and just goes, oh, look at the amazing hair, it's such a beautiful day. Sees Cherry and kind of gives her a little bit of an acknowledgement. It's kind of like a quick wink, and then passes the text message on to her with the address. And it's Katrina and Blackwood Cherry now, so it's the watching. I don't know how this works with this. I think she's staying with me.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. You just need to be able to sign up.
Yeah.
All right, so we make the way towards the you're good. So Katrina and Sherry. are following Becky, and then they all slowly make their way back towards the address that Lloyd had checked for while the guys are waiting in the van.
This address, this is the address you got for Bob.
No, this is just like a random nearby address so that they're not meeting up like right on campus.
Oh,
It's like a rendezvous.
okay. What?
Unless it matters for the story. It doesn't.
No. Okay. Okay. I'll just, for the sake of argument, we'll call it like a gas station or a coffee shop or something. We'll call it a gas station because people meet up there all the time. You know, diverse people from random walks of life. Yep. All right. You're all at a gas station, hanging out, talking.
I mean, Roy fills up the van, going to the office.
Like gets in the van, passenger door, shuts it behind her, and immediately just loses her shit laughing. That fucking guy. I have to keep going on the effort to pass up. Why are you fucking kidding me, dude? I'm just gonna set it up, but like having the door open up getting in yet. Sorry, she's come. Something like it has no snap, laugh, and like, well, it seems like a left now. I know. I thought Ratneck couldn't do any better, but apparently I can't have my own performance. It's just fine. Absolutely, madam.
Katrina pipes in and she says, I just want to make it super clear that this is the only scenario in which I would find it acceptable to roofie someone. So just don't want y'all to think that was a thing that I normally do.
It was all right, yeah. If anything, it reflects work on us.
Roy is immediately willing to do that. But no, I mean, Katrina's not manifesting visibly, right?
No, it's kind of like you guys can see her.
Okay.
It's she's a little transparent, but you know, yeah, you guys can see her, but she yeah.
I mean, Roy like catches her eye and gives her like that sincere like thank you.
Yeah.
All right, well now just to see if Big Dog Bob are here.
Okay, well, you guys are going to have a few days before Bob gets in contact with you, according to Teddy. So there's a few options. You guys can take this few days to get anything else done that you want out of the way, in terms of like side quests, or you can fast forward the few days, or you can do like a mix of both. Like you know, call whoever and then fast forward, or you can, you know, mail a letter from the post office. I don't fucking know. Like what?
I think I'm going to spend some time following up on the lawyer for what's his name, because that's exactly how Becky considers it.
Right.
This is a favor she's doing for Roy, basically.
Trevor McNamara.
Okay.
He's happy to remind people that the guy has been Right.
Everyone's still trying to stab me and not over it. I mean, she didn't.
Oh, okay. And are controlling them. We'll just, you know, we'll talk that out. I'll do it.
I'm sorry, I just can't not.
No. Okay.
To be perfectly fair, man, like Caracas weaponized Morgan. It's like, but she
Grabbed me from behind from the dark. I'm sorry.
not from behind, grabbed you from the front. She like,
Grabbed me in the dark.
yeah.
That's right. With a knife in my hand. Well, what's gonna happen?
Population Morgan. Okay.
Okay. I mean, is there anything else that, you know, is there anything you guys want to do?
Well, in the interim time, they was actually going to contact his boss, let him know that he's got something else going on. Thank him for everything that he's done, you know, the job, thanks for cash, other support, and then he was gonna pack up his, you know, his apartment. He doesn't have much stuff. And then just completely move into Roy's place. Granted, after a discussion, it was amenable to that. Yeah. Can you ask her? Yeah, no, I haven't. So what is happening? No, I just assumed you're all looking to your now whether that's true or not. Yeah, I mean, you worked out some on-paper deal about, you know, they keep the place clean or something. You know, don't let them. Like when Randall comes back with all this stuff, he kind of takes over the garage in a way. I mean, of course, leaving room for the women, you know, other storage and stuff, but he almost names like one spot, all the stuff in his car, and just, you know, that is the Randall space. It's his territory. The Randall kid. The Randall kid, yes. Is that because he's abandoned there, or? That's just a huge crack in the foundation. The cave part is still there.
Is there a glass case that contains Molly's favorite outfit in the Vandal Cave? Or a giant penny? Or a giant penny. I'm cool with either one. Oh my god, Jay, there's already a giant dinosaur on the property.
I kind of like this idea of between No Man Left Behind and Roy's house, there's just all this like accumulated junk that was supposed to be, you know, used for the business. It's just like not, you know, the Batman cave giant penny, but like maybe a penny that's the size of like a hubcap that was, you know, they just found a deal and they're like, oh, maybe we can use it.
Full disclosure, I own a penny that's the size of my phone.
Huh.
Those giant penny doesn't have to be 2 stories tall penny. Yeah, not that this could be a full giant ass penny.
Does Cherry have any? Or I'm sorry, Dan. Are you done with Vandal's things that he wants to do?
Pretty much. I mean, he's got all the stuff on his apartment. He closes down back here. I mean, there's basically separating some space from his boss, anyways. You know, living above the garage.
Yeah. The closeout with your boss is, it's there's no friction. There's a word I'm looking for that is escaping me right now. Amicable. Thank you. That's exactly it.
His boss has been around on the whole, like, vagabond thing and stuff. So, you know, he gets it. Guys come, guys go. That's just how it is. So, the one time I'm trying to be sick.
You've been hanging out with Faubourg too long.
Yeah, other than that, he doesn't contact his bandmates or anything. Just him ditching his job and moving into the hotel.
You do get a "How's it going?" text from Missy that you are under no obligation to return, but it's clear that she's trying to reach out. And if you were so inclined to reach out to your bandmates, like, you would have time to do so now.
How this is going on while Randall's moving in, and I mean, Roy's, you know, if he needs help moving stuff, Roy's helping out. But while this is going on, I kind of goes to Becky and to Cherry and just kind of takes them aside and essentially just asks them, like, do you guys want to live here too? Like, he just extends the invitation, as kind of a formal, actual thing instead of, because we've all been crashing as needed. And it's not like a, hey, I need a decision. It's like a, hey, you're welcome to actually live here. You just put something up there.
Might be nice to keep the old address just as it's front. You can have all the bullshit email forwarded there. Yes, my email address is the contract.
Yeah, there's a service that prints it out that's handwritten for us.
Out of the email.
All her ravens.
The service that prints it out is owned by the artist who wants to print the internet as an art project.
Yeah, so that's I'm going to keep her on the drive for like 2 hours.
It's serious now.
She hasn't had a place to really home for a long time. And she's just kind of like, it was one of those warm, fuzzy moments where she's kind of, feels like a sheepish burning dog at the paint field.
And in that, like, at one point in moment, like, Roy puts his arms up and, like, hold it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Awesome. Okay.
I've been out there. Say that, actually.
So there is something that I'm going to have Roy do, and potentially going to involve everybody, but it is time for meds, so I'm going to step off for maybe about 10 minutes.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Cool. Yep.
I will do. No, I mean, I've been telling her that you guys have been checking in and talking to me and stuff, and she sends her best. She didn't, like, know you guys except for Brian, but she sends her best. Yeah.
No pressure.
Something we can, no pressure to what?
I'm the only one to represent Jamie's mom's protection of the grid.
That's no, I'm just now I'm just kind of, I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty gold in her eyes, because, like, I've been Jamie's friend for so long at this point.
No pressure in carrying that kind of gift with all of them. Now you represent all of them.
Well, I represent you as I interpret you to her. I would never be honest about the kind of things you guys do or say. Like, yes. Did we tell you guys that she was our high school guidance counselor? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of interesting.
I think she might have taken a car and dragged him up to our apartment in Stratford Mill, which I'm really amazed that I can still remember the name of that place. Dear God.
That was a great time. I was working at
That was a really good time.
I was working at Papa John's. Getting us free pizza all the time.
I was having that school and that fun. We were like 21, living 10 minutes from a vegan Cora. We did not deserve that shit.
Yeah, well.
Looking back, I'm like, I could take that right now. Can I have that partner to that? I was having this again. No problem. Let's do this.
It wasn't the worst gig ever. Like, it was my first year as a delivery driver, and I got to listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of audiobooks. And yes, I lived at home, but I don't know that.
You were over enough for, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, your laptop charger was there.
It was. It was. Not my toothbrush though.
I take it back. You're not gross.
Thank you.
I'm surprised. I was the one. Yeah, that was terrifying. Yeah, and that first time, like, that's in Jacksonville, I love it. The last time was Avenger, nobody told me that. I really like Ride Rock.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah, it really was.
I've never seen it. Oh, have you seen the Princess before, Mother? Yeah, I saw the first one. The first time, the second one got me down. And I wasn't ready to predict for the mini franchise, and then Ragnarok happened, and the soundtrack was but I was like, that's beautiful, man. Like, I don't even care what the rest of the movie does. I
Yeah.
listen to the background music.
Ragnarok actually has it's interesting because Ragnarok actually contains 2 of my top 5 MCU battles. Like both times that they play Immigrant Song, I'm like, I can't right now. This is so good. What is happening?
I've heard about the thing in the arena story from Sam that was just telling me once upon a time, like years ago, before MCU existed. There's a captain who will fight weapons with him on a planet, he takes over and blah, and those warriors. So, like, to see that come to the big screen in such a fantastic way, like, that guy literally told me the story. I thought I'm moving backwards and forwards and time simultaneously.
Oh yeah, that's watching the MCU is
And then you told me all about it. Like, I was like, oh my god, I know what it says. Like, I have way more nerd cred than I thought I did.
they really made what they decided to interpret as the Planet Hulk storyline, like they made that turn out way happier. Yes, no, I agree. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, basically. Like Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, and Black Bolt all got together and said, "You gotta go, man." Like last time you hulked out, you destroyed Vegas, and you killed a bunch of people. And like Shield's always asking us, "Why don't we just kill you already?" So we're gonna send. Yeah. Basically. So we're gonna send you to a place where it's just you and a bunch of deer. But yeah, that was fun. Cool. Was there anything Cherry wanted to do specifically? Sarah. Sarah says she's doing good. She misses you. Can't wait to see you again. And she says that the mood around the dorm has gotten a lot better. And no one is dealing with any weird, unexplainable crap, like feeling like they're watched or their computers are suddenly wiped or anything like that. It's just in the past week or so, things have gotten noticeably better. It's like a cloud has been lifted from off the dorm.
Awesome. Sarah decides to not share that just for the sake of thinking.
Yeah. Oh, that makes that makes perfect sense. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what?
So there's one thing I wanted to do. Randall's been involved Joe in combat. Because it finally
like, everything going on, like, moving and everything was going, flip through is going to be like, oh, shit, it's nice. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's like you have like a memo in there. It's like, hey, remember to call Dave and say it like a year ago.
Which is interesting because in game you haven't actually known him for a year.
Okay, that's all the time here. Randall knows. Maybe 5 years ago, there was another level of suppression. There's a whole other Randall in there. Oh, God.
And we're just like, hey, and it's 12:23 p.m.
Yeah, like you guys totally ghosted him.
Oh, he was thinking of not responding to this, because he doesn't respond to me. He does
What time?
Next time, yeah, if you wait till next fall and try to figure out, what time is a vampire going to be up and about.
Right.
I know you gotta get like a half hour
It's-
shower and dress.
No. It's not that I'm. It's not that I don't want to get into that. It's that I'm gonna need a minute to figure out how that's gonna go. And while I'm doing that, okay. So Becky wanted to look into getting a lawyer. She needs to contact her dad.
Her dad, he is her dad's attorney.
Was there
Kind of,
right? And was there any active thing that Roy was doing?
No, well, Roy's thing to be like a house meeting. Hey, I've got this thing we all should address. So it's better if we do all this stuff beforehand. Because this stuff that you guys are doing in the city is like day one of the 3 or whatever that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And then Roy would call the meeting like day 2 once everyone, like once Vandal's settled in and we know what's going to happen with the lawyer and that sort of thing.
Okay, so Becky tries to get in touch. How do you go about it? It goes to voicemail.
Becky. Checking in, it's been a little while. Everything's going pretty good here, but I have a friend who might make use of, I don't know, I forget Mr. What's his face that, kind of discovers all of your legal shit, your legal stuff. So if you want to give me a call back, I just need to get in touch with you and get her set up with him. If there's any costs of coverage, this is a favor for her from me. So this could be a favor for me from you, but yeah. Send me back.
And does not say love your dad.
Nope.
I like it.
Voicemail.
Yep. You then recall that no. You then recall that you received an evite to ATL to be ATL Chems, or would it? Basically, your dad and his family, or possibly his company, is throwing this like gala event in a really nice country club in Atlanta. And there's an evite for you and a +1.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Immediately breaks in a ponytail.
So if and it's actually in a couple of days. So if for some reason your dad doesn't get back to you, he'll be there.
All right.
Yeah. So, just in case, I mean, like, I'm only the master of this world, but we don't know that. We don't know that yet.
Okay. Okay,
Look, guys, I'm just the master of this world that I've created. I can't control who makes a phone call when.
It's not in control if that happens with a difficulty with chance that they will.
Okay. So Jamie, please have your house meeting now, because I really am gonna need a minute to figure out like how the J phone call is gonna go.
Sure.
Thanks.
So Ray calls house meeting, and gets everybody together and does gets everybody a drink and whatever. Yeah, exactly. And down to the person. That's the important. The important thing is we both love him. He lays out for everybody that we owe Katrina. Her helping us out. I mean, it pretty much fixed a big problem that I don't think we had another way to fix. And so we owe Katrina, and the promise that Roy made was to help her get closure, help her, potentially be able to move on into whatever the next thing is in this world. And he's got an idea on how we can do that. So he lays out the idea that Katrina knows, Katrina can give us information on Shannon.
Is Katrina present for this discussion, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
Just checking.
We invite her. Yeah. She can give us, whatever we would need to be able to track this guy down. And we can probably draw him out to somewhere with, like, we don't have any proof. We can't put, like, a ghost on the stand. So it's not going to be, like, bring him to justice, like, send him to jail. That's probably not going to happen. But we can maybe help her find the case. And the way that Roy can think to do that is if we can draw him out with some sort of cryptic, like, I know what you did to, like, I know what you did last summer type message, that we can get to him, then we can kind of do the blackmail thing to get him somewhere that, now that we know Katrina can be mobile, that we can have her either through one of us or directly in front of him. We know where there's a good warehouse, for example. Like, it's going to be really useful. But all the stuff that we've been doing is going to give them this idea that this may be a way that we can do it. Because like, I didn't want to go kill the guy. That's eye for an eye. That doesn't actually fix anything. But she may be able to get some measure of peace out of the direct confrontation. But he lays that out. And certainly, if she needs to be anchored to somebody, it's Roy's plan and idea. They'll do it if nobody else can, or whatever. She seems to attach to Cherry, but he's not going to volunteer Cherry for this. But yeah, puts it out and basically looks to Trina to see if this is something that she's interested in pursuing. And ultimately, it's going to be her piece, like the justice just finding to be her confrontation.
Katrina is uncharacteristically quiet and reserved. Normally, she's very bubbly, always asking people how they are and how she can help, or just simply trying to strike up conversation. You imagine that it probably gets fairly boring as a dead person. It's almost as if not just her visible form, but the immediate space around her seems darker, grayer somehow. Just all the talk about Shannon seems to have put her in an obviously bad mood. Not hostile or anything, just
depression.
yes. I'd never really. This is going to sound surprising, but I hadn't honestly given it much thought. After the first, I don't know, year, I had just kind of given up. And then I found out he was actually still in town after all this time, and I'm scared. I know that sounds weird. I'm scared of confronting him. I know he can't hurt me again, but last time I saw him, yes, he has to go. He has to pay. And like, she's doing this weird thing where like she's deeply breathing, which is odd in and of itself for a ghost, but like the air in the kitchen seems kind of static charged, like as she's thinking more and more about it. I want to see him go to jail. If you I want him to write a full confession. I want everyone to know what he did. And she looks at you guys with like pleading eyes.
And it's just kind of turning arms crossed, frowning. Deep and fast. Well, first off, we're going on a boat. I don't know whatever's next. And shit, that's what the dad are supposed to do, what y'all are supposed to do, but I mean, they're happy, fine, and I don't know, it's just a thought. You have to ask yourself if you might be able to move on from these feelings and still stick around, as to go into that hard, sort of it out, and back to the afterlife.
I thought about that, and I won't lie that, while this isn't the greatest existence ever, I'm scared to leave it. It's become familiar. I'm scared of what might be waiting for me. I don't think I've done nearly enough good to balance the evil that I've done. But while I'm not ready to move on, I can't keep waiting. I have to make sure that my business with him is done, that he pays for his crimes, because if I don't, I may never get another chance. He may hurt someone else. I can't be selfish about this. I don't even know if bringing him to justice will allow me to move on or force me to move on. I just know it has to be done.
And when you say this has to be done, it's that justice for what he did to you deserved, as opposed to just general punishment. There's a difference between justice and punishment.
I told you I want him to sign a confession, and I want him to go to prison for the rest of his life. I don't want him killed.
Right. Well, there's a lot of us thinking whatever was on the table for this one. I guess. But I was, The father had passed my mind and just, you being around, you know, put the food straight, like, that was good enough, but, no, that's not you.
There's a more practical reason. It's not that I don't want to see him, and then like it gets a couple degrees colder in the room as she says this. It's not that I haven't thought about, but if I do, or if anyone does, if he's killed violently, what if he comes back like me?
That's also ghastly bullshit. Well, I saw the middle of the notion that reading human now is starting to get you just a little bit. And there's, no matter what anyone else may think, there's not too much separating you from violent poltergeist, the emotions. So I would definitely can't take easily out. On the other hand, as for solving your murder, basically a cold case, racking my brain and I can't think of the way to go about it. One of us was a reporter. She actually shows up to talk it out with him. He starts saying shit he shouldn't, and that gives us enough leverage to actually get him to bring the rest of it out. We can't record Julie's testament, but we can record his shit. And it sounds like he's going crazy. We can maybe work with that. You think? Seems like it could be very easily dismissed.
No, if he signs a confession, then it would put him away. But we'd have to bring him to that point. I think I could scare him into doing it, but I would need you guys there to stop me from going over the deep end.
And immediately looks to Roy. Yep. No, I don't think it's in here. I'll say it's icon.
Oh, he might have. That's okay.
It's okay. He doesn't have to say anything.
Part of me is glad that I visited a horrible fate upon his character last season. Yeah, well, come on. How much mileage has this one joke gotten? Yeah, I'm seriously. Honda Civics don't get mileage this good.
I'm letting Platoon's obviously came out, but I don't know what I really intended for it to be originally. I got more shots like in drop situations. That's the rest of them. I'm down this button. I can make those shit. Oh. That's right. That's just what we static tonight. I took this as fast as I had to, and I thought the excuse was going to be that I was like, oh, I'll be able to pass the camera, and then I can go to the camera. No, not at all. I was getting distracted, like, don't have time for a weird second finger. I don't know. I did realize during my spoke Spanish, but my entire life, my grandma had said fuck altogether, and I never thought, like, my brain just connects to that from a young enough age where it just connects together, and I never probably realized that she was not saying the word, hey, we were going to do this stuff, we did that. And then they're like, oh, damn, oh my god, it is. I don't know what the last time it sounds like a dying star. Oh, brains are weird as shit when it comes to learning math. I said Spanish in middle school, high school, and in community college classes on that one. And I could say I don't know how to cook. Yeah, but now we can ask somebody else to do it for you. Just cooking your food.
Is that? Hang on. Is assuming that all Hispanic people know how to cook, is that racist? It feels racist. Yes. Oh my god. So for the entirety of the time that I lived in Gainesville, I had a rice cooker that I thought was a slow cooker. And I used it. It was what's it called? It was fucking chicken marsala, and it oddly enough turned out delicious. And the thing was, like, I just thought it was a broken slow cooker because it kept turning off after like 90 minutes, and I'm like, that can't be right. And it took moving in with Chris and Rara Imler. They were like, and they would make rice with it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I've never made rice in that. It's like, you've never made rice in your rice cooker before? I was like, what? That's not a fucking crock pot? And they're like, no, dude.
Hi.
Right.
I don't know exactly what the cause is yet, but for some reason my internet, my Wi-Fi adapter, my computer has been crapping out since I've been here. It just, it just disconnected itself and couldn't recognize the device, and so I don't know what's going on. I might have unstable internet here.
I haven't asked for the best reason for you to double check, crap on the chat that I would have thought. So
Yeah.
That's better.
Oh yeah, no, sorry.
My internet doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm really.
Yeah, I think it's because I've been using the adapter. It's a USB adapter, and I've had my media archive set up for streaming in the house, and I think just the constant transmitting out of that, because usually these things are receiving from the router, and so that doesn't really take any power to do, but the transmit takes a lot of power, and I think it's burning out the USB port. But anyway.
Damn you.
What if I don't? And we'll just completely break my mental image of what's going on in this kitchen. Like it'll just. Beautiful.
Oh, well then, Rose, and then you got one. Rose got their positions.
I can't have to say the whole time I don't know what's going on. You got me.
Yeah, the duck is in one of the other chairs.
I saw that was on. The duck is not on.
So we're outside the duck room. So where was the last thing you guys heard from me, I guess? So that I know where.
I talked about when we started last year. What's the last thing you heard about?
Oh, fair enough. Let's see. Trina had said that she definitely wanted justice, and Randall was kind of talking around, don't want to put the boot to him. I think we were just talking kind of around that issue, like the how to do it.
And Randall mentioned not wanting to push her over the edge, to expand poltergeist territory.
Right.
Trina mentioned that she definitely wanted them to,
I mean,
confess.
Cheryl didn't want to tell him.
Right.
What if it comes back as a case?
Melanie suggested, Katrina mentioned being, near him and being present, in order to help facilitate this. Like if she were there with one of us reporting him, and then he starts going basically crazy, or reported or something, and then Katrina mentioned that she would want someone there to help keep her from tipping over, going crazy. And when she mentioned that, then it looked very kind of a boy. Oh, I see. Who said nothing?
Yeah, who had blue screens? Yeah.
It's no joke, man, when people blue screen in real life.
Yeah. Okay. So I had dropped right before, I guess, when she talked about being there. But yeah, right. It snapped out of whatever he was thinking of. And looks back to the Vandal, and then looks over to Katrina, and kind of gives her like a nod, a nod like, I got you if this is what you want to do. Okay.
An odd effect happens where Katrina it looks like she's weeping, and then her tears just sort of, as they fall from her face, they sort of dissolve in the air. And she nods. She nods, yes, this is what I want. I want to try to coerce him into a confession on tape. That could be difficult because, and she takes a second to gather herself. Could be difficult because just me being around a device can cause them to fritz out. So
we have to convince him that whatever fate we could bestow upon him is worse than being in jail for life, which is exactly what's going to happen if he signs the confession. I mean, we're a witness to such success right now. I'm just saying. One wonderful man. And then, now, I could just avoid some of this. I can go in so many ways wrong.
If I if I can fill up on positive emotion before we go out and track him down and do this, then that could act as a buffer, and it'll be more difficult for me to cross over to the other side.
So, how far?
If you guys want to cut to a montage of cracking open beers and playing like Mario Party and Twister, yeah, I am totally down with that. Like, or
Randall goes and grabs his guitar and just like,
He grabs his guitar and starts playing Freshman. It turns out it's the only song he knows.
Oh no. Dan, what popular song would Vandal know that Woody play?
I don't know.
Can we echo your dance?
Oh no! Fucking what? Did you fucking hear about that? Our fucking commencement, or was it our commencement speech? Whatever. The speech that they give at graduation for the class of 03, St. Joe, this guest speaker or whatever, she recited the lyrics like deadpan to I Hope You Dance. And like all of us were just looking at each other like, yeah, no, Shatner at least would have breathed a sort of life into it. She just,
I think it was an inspirational quote.
yeah.
Like from a textbook. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly like that. All the lyrics. That was just her closing bit for the speech.
It's simultaneous creation. She has no idea the song exists.
Yeah. That would be incredible.
Anyway.
All right. Yeah. Dan, what song would Vandal play?
Something simple, something I would say easy to play, like, I can start playing Johnny Big.
They perfect. It's fucking perfect. All right, and then Cherry and Katrina and Becky and Roy play beer pong. And there's a couple of times like Katrina telekinetically influences the ball to go in the cup. And like people call her on it, but she's just like shrugging and like looking from one direction to another, like, prove it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What about teams for that beer pong?
I
Brett keeps looking flustered, and the ball keeps missing back.
that is not, no. Hand of the GM, absolutely not. What? Yes. You probably would. Yeah. Well, hang on. Throwing is Dex plus athletics. So. Do you have anything in athletics? Okay. Yeah. I don't know if Becky has much in athletics.
Right, I'm not good at the same.
Yes. Actually, yeah, we're gonna. You have two. Okay.
I like the idea of all like making checks game. Everybody like spending, like burning out all their willpower.
No, I'm not. Everybody make.
I know how this goes.
All right, go ahead.
So we're all playing, and we're rotating and playing on different teams and stuff. And then Vandal jumps in because he's mad he's not able to play. And Roy steps off maybe to, I don't know, set up a laptop or something to take over music. And teams keep rotating, and like, Cherry steps off to get a drink or something, and Trina, and it ends up Vandal versus Becky. No one else is playing. And all of us are standing back, like, looking at each other like, is this going to happen?
Which I will leave to the two of you to determine.
What's the difficulty?
What the?
Yeah, you guys definitely need to roll.
Yeah, for let's say it's basically it's it's Becky versus Vandal, and each of them has 1 cup left in front of them. And you guys can you're gonna roll it, and it's gonna be Dex Athletics difficulty 8 because it's a hard shot, and you guys have had a few. So the first one to get, actually, Kendra, refresh me on beer pong rules. If he sinks his, but then you immediately sink yours, what is that like? Okay. Okay. In that case, I'm willing to bet the 2 of you can figure this out. But yeah, just you're both gonna roll off with each other, and it's gonna be Dex Athletics rolls difficulty 8. Yeah. And then if one of you happens here, you know what? Let's just put Becky over here.
Yeah, I mean, even the dogs might bring it over. There's ethically going in.
Like, are we doing this?
Okay, we're doing it.
Alright.
So whoever, like, on this roll, whoever makes greater amount of successes sinks theirs, and the other person doesn't.
And then we'll consider that actual, the person gets 2 in a row, essentially, you think yours, and the other person does not get a row.
Right.
This has been tricky.
You're goddamn right I am. Well, wait, are you guys going to do that thing where one of you says to the other one, like, all right, let's make it interesting. If I win X, if you win Y. Got it. All right.
Oh, no, yeah, in the zone as much as you can after drinking so much.
I'm going to put a compliment shirt on for after this. This is nothing. This is
Okay.
Alright.
2, 2, 1, go. Okay, so we're going to roll it again for the...
Yeah, let me set up another one. So you think that it turns around that he's unable to blow it out.
Okay, all right. One more shot. Focus. Hammer.
I really was hoping you were going to go into M&M Labs spaghetti just now.
God, he's determined. Veracity. Yes! Yeah, for real.
Okay. So Roger definitely made my great popcorn pasta. Oh, it's 100% that. Okay, so we're making another character service.
Yeah, right. So now we're back to 0. And we're actually done with the real work, so I'm not sure how we go to work. So the next step has to happen. So now I think mine and 11, and you win. Alright, so now we're basically looking for somebody who wins 2 rolls in a row. Alright, ready? Yeah. Yeah. We picked some favorite patio for you. And continues.
Kendra, all right, got from now on for the rest of the scene, no spending willpower. Because I mean, all right, I guess you're you're allowed. I mean, you just spent 3 willpower as the thing. Fuck it. Okay. Wait, are you out of willpower at this point? All right. Yeah.
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 Also, my compliments to Fisher Brian on whatever music he's putting for the scene. I don't know, it's gonna be good.
No, Immigrant Song is strictly for battle. This isn't no.
Yep, pretty much. Right? So now if Randall sings it, and Becky doesn't. Oh, no, right.
Nice.
Oh,
The thing is, I don't get it because like anything else that I made difficulty 8, I feel like you guys would whiff for the most part. I don't understand why beer pong is easier than hunting monsters. It just makes no sense to me.
This is both of their wheelhouse and both of them misfit willpower.
Yes. Uh-oh. Is that it? Come on, Dan.
What? No, I just sorry. That right second was that ribbon button. So that was it one more woman?
And then you just won again. So now like you count the rest of it out, right?
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
so final roll if I lose. Okay.
Dan, shout Kobe as you roll it.
That never works for me.
Always works for me for some reason. Nobody can shoot. Oh God, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's a little power that one. Alright, so you guys are back to even, right? Becky won that one?
Well, I won that one, so now if I win one more, okay.
Oh, I don't know.
I just win. Okay, that's what I like. I have no idea what's happening anymore.
I'm leaving it to you. Like I don't know beer pong well enough to.
Ready?
Nice.
No, one more. We'll turn back to you.
Advantage stands.
I realized that mathematically this is not for the decision.
That's how role-playing games work. That's the way this shit happens.
I'm not going to ask the one to be completely last track. I'm just enjoying the competition.
Alright. No.
All right. This next round, if there's no winner, I'm bumping the difficulty up to 9.
Can I propose an alternative to this?
By all means.
This keeps going long enough that everybody else goes to bed, and now it's just
No, because I actually have a thing. I have a, yeah. I'm not opposed to them being the last ones to go to sleep for the night, but I do have a thing planned out.
Okay.
Difficulty 9. Both of you. Oh what? She did because she didn't roll. She rolled a 1 and no successes. Yeah. Yep.
And I come from my father and maybe scrapping myself. Doesn't say a word. He's just got hope this way. I find tricky, but then just keeps holding his fish up.
High five. There's the high five again. That's definitely
I thought she would have changed the flavor to a snacky and principle before.
So that happens, and then as it's happening, you hear that song just like come over, the speakers or whatever, thing that you had hooked up. What some system was hooked up, and that song comes over it, and then this part is actually a little bit. You're not entirely sure if this is really happening or if you're hallucinating this is happening or if you're dreaming it, because you all feel kind of floaty from all the booze you've been imbibing all night. But basically, you all get the sense of levitating throughout the kitchen and then the living room, not really being able to control your movements, almost as if you're sort of free floating through the house. And Katrina is singing like lead vocals on this, and the dog, and yeah, and the dogs are backup vocals.
I think probably loves some drinking, so he's not reliable as what's what's going on.
No, not at all.
But like Ryan Bendel, or maybe the other one's just had sort of like this.
Oh yeah, good point. Remember, Kendra and Tyler couldn't make a session, so you guys had a magic breakfast with Robin.
So actually on this one, I'm gonna do another one again. So I'll be back.
Yeah, cool. Sweet.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry, I checked on my cat and I had to make amends.
Oh, it's terrible.
I didn't even see him. It was really hard. It was dark and I didn't have the light on. And he was in the laundry and
Wow.
it was bad.
Sorry, I was just listening to the song. That's good. I wanted at some point during this season, I wanted a lighthearted moment like that. I'm glad we got that.
Snake and orange.
Oh man.
Yeah, so here's data reaction for release. So if you post on the Snapchat,
Yeah, there's an MP4 here. That's pretty good. I will. We'll play this out when. Sorry, we'll play this out when Jamie and Mariah get back. Hang on. Holy crap. Guys, it's 62 degrees in Jacksonville right now.
Which is an hour and a half north of Jackson Heather, down to Pasadena, Chicago. It's a little bit across the entire state of Wisconsin right now. Like quite literally maybe 20% of the state isn't covered. Maybe. Yeah, it's not covered at all. Everywhere else.
Old people and mosquitoes. Terrible. Wow.
And God said that would be racism. And it was bad. But not everybody.
Good Lord.
And it's not part of the earth, so I realized.
Okay, yeah, now if this is from today, yeah, it's like all up in, oh, wow, that is all up in your grill, guys.
Yeah, yeah. There's my bird.
Boston looks like
It's not really moving away. It's kind of swirling right now.
Boston looks like it'll be a popsicle by morning. Hey, come on now. Larry Bird gives a shit about Boston. Hey. Holy shit, I've never seen frozen power lines before. That's creepy.
Well, guess what? We're not funny.
I imagine like everybody's computers and video games just freeze on the screen. Yeah. Well, that's the greatest place to freeze on. What are you talking about? Oh, during, like as it's in transit from the genitals to the face. Yeah. That's the perfect moment to stop, or to pause, I should say.
I've never taken it.
I took a bus in Gainesville a few times. Actually, it was a decent system.
Oh God, no one listens right now. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna look at my at like 10.
Oh, that was his reaction. That was his reaction to winning beer pong.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. We're gonna get some appointed mental illness. I pretty much like it. And then,
Yeah.
really wish this school was hot and dinner before it's 7 So I have a solid chance that I'm not going to work tomorrow. And I thought it would be a good day.
Oh, boo-hoo. You guys get snowed in. I still have to go to work.
Well, actually, if I could, which I might not be able to do, and hopefully the power doesn't go out.
All you have to do is walk outside and, jam your spear into the ground and ice fish.
Yeah, it's all right. I think that's
Yeah, isn't that a thing you guys have to do? Like, since you live up there, like, don't you have to have like emergency rations or something?
This is like one of those, man, this is shitty, and I didn't look at the weather, and I didn't prepare, and now I might have to have like prevent a random 50 days.
Jesus.
Those are my diet. Some of them are probably still better because I have to.
Yeah.
Because I don't own a snowmobile, so everybody else is not a big deal if you can't shovel your car out. I don't actually have a snowmobile, so when I just went to get truck, I can go out and snowmobile.
Well, now I know. You realize Rick and Max aren't real, Mariah. So you recorded the day?
Because you don't know what Facebook numbers are. So the Facebook number is either today or yesterday. You posting and tagging me and Tyler, and you go, man, I just got home. See you the next night.
How long ago was that? Like 3 years? Was it 3 years ago? No?
I think it was 3 or 4.
Jesus.
It apparently happened a couple of times since.
Yep.
This is apparently a thing that Brian does now.
Yeah, Jimmy can tell you more about it.
We just got this that we were out tracking muscles. We were in stitches where Sarah able to breathe rapid muscles, and when he was over our apartment a few years ago. And then out of nowhere, Brian just kind of like seized up, like he just like kind of stepped off and his face was swelled, which was out of kind of cup, and he just turned like this deep red color, and he just stopped in the middle of us having like a dinner fight, and we're like, and I thought he was doing it on purpose at first because it was just so out of the normal character. And then he kind of came through and I was like, whoa. And he was like, ah, you were 10 minutes.
Yeah. And I've had a handful since.
Like he didn't look like he was actively speaking. Like I've had relatives that have active speak before, and it looks nothing like it. And that's what my boyfriend was like doing, like a little bit more, like I'm like, and carrying it out a little for us. And then he came to and was like, oh, I feel really weird. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know.
So I'd need Jamie, Mindy, our friend Meredith, Brad, and Cass have seen at least one each. I think Jamie's seen a couple at this point. Brad and Cass might have seen a couple. I think Kevin saw one. Because I definitely had one for Ryan's wake. And I think I had it. Yeah, so at this point, like, I had one at Ryan's wake. I had one another night we were playing D&D at Brad and Cass's place. I had one with Mindy in the bathroom. That was a painful one, actually. I actually fell all the way down. And, like, it's a small bathroom, so I, like, crumpled into an uncomfortable position. Meredith saw one, and I was at work, and she was teaching me how to do something. But unfortunately, like, in this... Not unfortunately that we're friends, but unfortunately for this situation, we're friends. So she's trying to teach me how to do something at work, and we're, joking with each other, and we're giggling back and forth. And then I happen to, the thing is, it's not a certain point of laughter, but like if I laugh and I'm not careful, then I will cough, and then I can't stop coughing. There's like this tickle in my throat, and I can't stop coughing. And so I can't stop breathing outward. And the blood pressure, right, the blood pressure in my head keeps increasing. I can't get any air in. And then I black out, basically. And it's like coming out of a deep sleep and just, yeah, it's not. And then you look around and like you're surrounded by people and they're like helping you up maybe, or they're looking at you funny. And they're like, what was that? Or like, dude, like, all right, calm down, kind of thing. No, dude, I just got to get in shape. Is what it is. I'm fairly certain it's directly tied to that. I don't think it's some weird, adult onset epilepsy or anything like that.
Like you don't like feel like you're shaking and foaming and somebody gets sick to this tooth. Like that's not what it looks like at all.
Yeah, it's just straight up running out of.
It's like just so bad. It just like.
Do you want to tell a more charming story about my brain going that you were laughing about earlier, Kendra? Yeah, my going away party. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Jamie said blue screening, and like you started giggling, and I'm like.
And she was very excited because I'm maybe not a lot of us were huge fans of us, to put it in a way. And
to be fair, I wasn't a huge fan of her either.
Brian, it was only going away party that we threw at the house that me and Brad and Jamie and Kevin lived in. Brian was like his own party, which is his birthday. Just like about 2 hours. It wasn't wild. She was out there having a fight with what's his name.
Natalie. Yeah. I was afraid. I didn't know how crazy she was or was not.
Because we were all like, let's like that. And so we spent the night drinking profusely. There's some great pictures and maybe a couple videos of some rock dancing ones that were inspired drinking songs I'd never heard before in my life.
Oh yeah, Jungle Love from the end of fucking Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Yeah.
And then at one point, like I had my camera out, my little fucking like point and click camera because I did not have a phone with a camera that could take video in it. That's how long ago this was. Dear God. And now I'm typing and like I put it right out of my and I just like yeah, having a good time. And then let's put the camera and camera and just back to one. Smiles and biggest smile. And then he said, "What second he said no? What is that how? Where did that from?" And then I didn't look at the camera and he's the one sound. And that was bad.
And I think I walked away. I think I walked away after that, just like because.
No words. And I have the best pictures and the last picture that was on my camera that night was of me like face down on the footstool to like the single person chair and just like again with the whole time because there's so much thinking into the stuff.
Yeah, I think I have that picture saved somewhere too. I've had dreams like that where I'll be in class or something, or someone will just ask me a question and I will try to respond and then nothing comes out. And then everybody just looks at me expectantly. And then it just becomes this really weird, long, awkward moment. This is a very strange instance of life imitating my subconscious. And that was just so weird because, like, I can't believe even at that moment I wasn't cognizant of what I was doing because I remember doing it is the thing. And I had no words for Kendra. I was just like, yeah. And she recorded this really beautiful message to me, which I think is just sort of lost to time. What? No, it was fucking because it was from the heart, man. It was, and now it's gone. No one knows what happened to it. I mean, I have a theory that Kendra secretly has a copy and just refuses to share it with me, but I can't prove that.
Then I may not be alone for a drive that was pulled out of my old desktop from like 2008 that doesn't not exist, but I haven't really told you. I think I have not it. But all my theories are drugs. That's all the other thing. My theme machine are drugs.
Holy crap.
Nothing else. Actually, nothing more outdated than a theme machine is a project. That's big. Jesus. I'm from the before time. A long, long ago. That's actually computers in your hand that makes fun of us. I have literally never had a use a floppy disk, like they don't know what their save icon is on. Oh yeah. You need the 3D printout of the save icon. That's so cool. Oh, no. Well, like their handset on the phone when their cell phone rings, they don't actually know what that is.
There are teenagers who have never had to go into an actual porno store. Like,
9/11 is a historical event that happened before they were born.
Oh God. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. No, they won't.
All right. Kendra.
Yeah.
No, but see, I know See,
They chose the wrong country.
you guys are really softballing it in, but yeah, my revenge for that, it's gonna be, yeah.
Elaborate.
Oh yeah.
Sinister.
Oh yeah.
Attaboy.
Well, I'm thinking it has to involve like I have to somehow send her on a quest where she has to like reach down and grab something off the floor and just do all these awkward physical movements that are like more painful, or they're painful at all where once they were not. And I want to like send her to a liquor store that I know they're not going to cart her at, and
So my brother and sister-in-law, they're best friends from high school and college. It was like 3 or 4 years younger than them. Like one of those freshman friendly mix when they were graduating with their
Sounds like your neighbor left school, whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of my inspiration for sure. But Jeannie, that's her name, and she did basically the exact same thing. We have fun of both of them. They're the same age. When they turned 30, and it was just ruthless with it. So they were like, okay, sure, yeah, and they bided their time. And they had this whole thing set up where, like, the day she turned 30, they signed her up for, like, menopause meals.
Jesus. Like if Kendra had not said anything, I would have been like, I never would have even crossed my mind as a thing. Yeah. Well, okay, let me just ask you, are there any fairs or carnivals near you coming up in like May or June? Okay, I just need to find a fair or carnival near you and take you to it. No. No. Well, I mean, that's a clever idea, but no, that's not what I was thinking of. You're so clever. Yes, I was going to pay him whatever it took to look at you and guess 35.
Oh,
no, you. Shut.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I get to the post office back in the day for
It's fun.
Yeah, it's funny how people stick in your head at a certain age. Because I was just thinking about, what people are like, I definitely look older than this or something, but like Kendra is stuck in my head for whatever reason at like 23, 24. Like, obviously I know it's underage, but that's where you're stuck in my head. And like, Brian's like high school with me. So,
see, all right, that's.
I thought you were following Kevin. I just wanted Kevin to do a campaign. He's going to drive exactly the speed limit because that's something to drive.
Yeah.
We're not.
Right. Yeah.
That's what this was. And it was the first time that I ever seen him that smelled the bushes and he had that fucking cool ass Ranger car.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I still have that.
It's so very cool. I was fucking going down there. What?
But I have a question that I'm really deeply curious about. Like, to me, like, yeah, Jamie, I've seen you at various physical stages, like your build and your hair and your facial hair and stuff, and just clothing choices and stuff. So I do have like a residual image of you in my mind, but you've seen me. I feel like my like obviously my hair. I just feel like my looks have varied so wildly over the course of the time that you've known me. Yeah, I or if that fucks with your head at all, or if for whatever reason like you picture me as oh
Sorry, I'm getting some eye contact. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a juxtaposition. I've got two mental images of you that stick kind of in the same way. So the first one is like uh, it's my senior year, finally getting into drama club with you guys, and it's stuff. The residual image is you doing when we were doing like our Whose Line Is It Anyway things actual plays.
mhm.
And so like after rehearsals and stuff. So that's the first one. And then the second one is not like right now, but like this kind of older, matured Brian. And I think honestly, I think it's not like the hair so much as it's the difference between like young Brian and for whatever reason you like embracing the baldness and leaning into it and like making it work for you, like that's the second thing. So there's like young Brian and there's like older Viking Brian.
Because literally, there's like young Brian, I know I'm losing my hair, old Brian, like fighting very motherfucker.
Right, yeah, exactly. Those are the two juxtaposed images that I have that just kind of blend into my version of Brian that I only have.
There was a point in time, like I feel like the last stages of leaning into it are getting really ripped and tattooed, and obviously the one is great. There's no downside to it, but I've always worried about like exactly. Um, I've always worried about like I don't want to get something on me and then like 5 years later or even 2 years or less, go like why the fuck did I put that on me? But I'm getting to a point now where I'm like I feel like I I'm just gonna be like who cares, and less people are gonna ask me like why'd you get that, and even if they do, I'll be able to deliver it with such a confidence of just like because I'm over 30 and who gives a shit. I liked it. I wanted it.
No lie, one of my biggest fears about getting a tattoo
Is hepatitis C? Yeah, I hear you.
right. No, is that eventually we're going to find out that some like white nationalist group has co-opted the itch.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna like. That's the thing. Like, I worried about that enough. Like being a bald white dude, and like the shaved head thing was like their thing for so long, and I recently found out like the chevron is a symbol of a particular white national group. And I'm like, that can be they co-opted the chevron? That's a fucking that's like co-opting a fucking triangle or an octagon or something. It's gonna have so good. Yeah. Shrug. Yeah. Oh my god! Joshua's racist. Came out of nowhere. And some are just natural jumpers.
Oh, do not hesitate.
Wait, what? Yeah.
It's being recorded. So.
Let's see the That is. Mariah, that is up there in the category of white womanist things I've ever heard. Right along with when Mindy said, "But my pores." But she said it. Hang on. She was like looking at the skin cream. I was like, "You don't need any more skin cream. You've got 14 skin creams." And she said, "But my pores." Just like that. No exaggeration. No, we were in like Walmart or some shit. But my pores. Why would you ever want to let go of your Midwest accent? I told you that's the most boner inspiring accent of them all.
I got to ask this to talk about that, but right next to the room I'm staying in is my dad's TV room. Like, it's irrelevant at the same there when I'm covering it. And he's got, you know, he watches it with the volume way up to the gold. And we were watching this quick little news segment while I was coordinating with him on what we're going to do this week. And the news segment was about this like lady, and I think she's like in her 60s, and she was being proposed to in the middle of a contest, an annual contest for like playing a conch shell, like an instrument. Right? and so she's being proposed to, and she's got like a sun hat, and it's got flowers around it in like a little wave. And she's like wearing a floral print, like one piece old person dress. I don't know what the right term is. Not a moo of course.
Yeah.
and like black shoes and stuff, like sandals. And I look at my dad and I was like, that woman is like the avatar of Florida. That is everything Florida is. It's one person.
Basically. She came into the like. She enters every room. She enters every room surfing on a wave of orange juice. Yes. All right. So, you guys party your asses off. And if you want to, you guys can choose not to. But if you want to, I can make it so that Becky and Vandal are the last ones up. And they can talk or whatever. Or you can all just go to bed and wake up. Yep.
I mean, from an audience standpoint, I like it. But... okay, so now I'm going to uncheck my fingers. That was weird.
I was doing the Bill Hader eat popcorn thing.
Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the last thing anyone sees of Vandal is him passed out in the chair in the corner, right over there. Just let out, like, I mean, hand not working, hand back, tongue, like, not long enough, like, snoring, mouth open with a violent jack in his hand. I mean, he was out. And unlit cigarette in his other hand, which is thinking about going outside, like just going to smoke it, and he was thinking about drinking some more, but he sat down to plan all of this out. He just off the building. And Ben is laying on him.
He's totally passed out, and the kid just swap out the cigarette smoking from Bob's or something.
Okay.
And if I cigarette, I can try cigarette and forgot the other one.
Okay. So Jay's not getting called tonight. Yeah. Yeah.
She did the thing where like Max laid down at some point, and then she laid down on Max, and Max was giving everybody the look of like, I can't move. She's exactly, yeah. It is going like there's a kitten, so it can not mean I can't go. Yeah.
So, Katrina's physical form, if you will, sort of. Well, it also sort of like dissipates, and she just, for now, becomes a presence in the house. So.
I'm glad I'm not getting called tonight. It's like, oh, I was watching every wall on this house. I'm one with all of you. It's like, no, please just take a tutorial.
I don't think she's particularly vigilant or watchful of anyone. I think it's more of a
feeling that somebody's there in the room with you. Yeah,
It's more of the feeling like her left foot is in the room with you.
Like just her foot?
Is that worse? I'm sorry, is that worse?
No, I think I know what you mean. It's like if you're in a room and you just know, like, if you heard someone like walk by in the hallway on their way to the bathroom or something, like there's a sense that there's someone here.
Yeah.
It's not like hovering over your head.
No, yeah.
All of us know the difference between a house with other people in it and an empty house where it's just.
Yeah.
Right about anything in the walls, like they want you to because they love you so much.
Yes.
That's what I got to know.
Okay, fair enough.
It was so creepy.
I never knew. I never knew about this story. Oh. I mean, I remember when you wrote "My reflection blinked," and that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But anyway,
there are things that live in the walls of your house, and they only ever come out when you're sleeping. So when you're sleeping, they don't want to disturb you. And they stand over you and watch you while you sleep. They want to reach out and touch you because they love you so much. Yeah. Because it makes it unknowable, and that's what it is. Anyway. Hi.
Huh. Okay, so next day, you guys all recover a point of willpower. Just one. Yeah. So, let's just, shorthand it and say you guys hydrate and work off your hangovers. What's the plan for today? Is it to go straight after Shannon, or?
So to recap, I think what we landed on was that Katrina is going um, to be there, I guess, to be present while we get him to confess. So I think probably she needs to, and maybe did before the party is probably better, but like lay out everything that we would need to know to convince this guy that we know and we have proof. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like if we know, like, hey, I know you killed Katrina, and he's like, how'd I do it? And we're like,
Yeah.
you know, that's not right. But yeah, like I just assumed she gave us, you know, how to, like, where he is or how to track him down enough that we can convince him that, you know, we've got him cold and sort of thing if we need to. And I think the idea was that Roy's going to be kind of emotional watchdog on Katrina, so she doesn't go poltergeist. And I'm assuming Becky and Vandal, because they're the best at it, are going to put the screws to Shannon.
I mean, it's my trouble for them.
So Katrina's.
Nope, not like any law that knows that somebody is not comfortable with her. This was like Roy put this forward to the group. He's willing to take over whatever they don't want to.
I was going to mention that he's actually feeling kind of trepidatious about this. Just because he knows what he's like. And it feels like if anything is going to start pushing Katrina towards the edge, it would be him basically unloading on this guy.
You know what we could do, Dan, if you and the group are cool with it, we could do a split thing where while they are handling Shannon, you could be on the phone or possibly even in a face-to-face with Jay.
Yeah, that's also going to like, if they want him around, he's going to, you reel in and stand by as potential backup. But for the most part, he feels like this isn't his thing.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Katrina sort of nods in understanding.
Making some like specific self-restraint decisions.
Yeah, just a little message at the top of the screen. Thank you, we'll remember that.
I mean, yeah.
Kendra, make a willpower roll, diff 6.
I get my car after long road, right? Because I don't know how much it was.
Yeah.
They have their phones.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. Okay.
Yeah. You successfully managed to resist twirling your hair.
Yeah, what's the actual garment in my mouth?
I'm sorry. No, she'd probably realistically twirl her hair when he's being dark, but whatever. Yeah.
Like that's my fetish, right? I'm the same. What is it?
That'd be like if you were like, engage your hashtag. And just come on and on.
You try to push hard.
It's your hashtag. It's your hashtag. Engage your hashtag.
So Katrina lays it out that there was a really big, a really long text exchange between the two of them before the night she died, and she knows now that he went into her phone and deleted all those texts because they're they're threatening and therefore incriminating. So he deleted them out of his phone and her phone, and no one ever saw those texts but her, but they are burned into Katrina's memory. And she asks Cherry if she's willing to, it's not like a possession and it's not like dictation really, but this might seem kind of weird. It's just going to be faster if I use your hands to just type out all the things he texted to me. That was. Did Kendra tell you about that, by the way? Like, we were at a party and we were playing, what were we playing? What was it called? Like, what the fuck is the name of that game? It's part drawing, part sculpting, part acting. Cranium. Yeah. Cranium. So there's a part where, like, Tyler has to... There comes a moment where, like, Tyler has to sculpt his answer, like the thing that we all have to guess, but he has to sculpt using someone else's hands. Did not say I waited my whole life for this moment. No, I was like, this is fucking perfect. I can't. Unchained Melody. Yeah, it was something ridiculous. It was one of my finest moments, yes. So yeah. So she asks if she can use Cherry's hands to just type out the thing, and she explains that. Cool. So it is a little bit of a weird feeling, your hands moving by themselves, and you, like, as you see what your hands are auto typing, it gets progressively more disturbing. And Katrina explains, if you guys start reciting this to him, then he's going to know something is up, because no one ever saw these besides me and him. And then you're going to want to confront him. If you go in the bottom drawer of my desk, there's a belt in there. And don't ask me how I got it back, but that's what he... And she, like, does a hand motion, like, you know, that's what he used. If you dangle that in front of him while you read the text to him, and if you mention the name Mark Dupree, that's the guy he got the roofies from when he slipped them to me. And that's why I didn't resist when he used the belt.
As I was kind of reading this, I was like, was it actually I was like, am I reading it? Just typing it up on
You're. I haven't.
that.
No. I haven't said like what the texts were yet. But it really doesn't matter what the texts were. They were just very specific. They're not important specifically for this storyline. It's just very vague, like sexist, threatening shit. Like,
Yeah, it's a plot on things. It means like now we have this thing that is specific to the situation to accomplish our goal.
Yeah.
I was just making sure.
All right. Well, did you have a suggestion? Emo? Yeah, if Cherry wants to look away, like she can still type, like her hands are sort of not on her own under her own control. But if Cherry wants to look away, it's totally understanding because the texts do get creepier and more disturbing as they go on.
Just kind of like cutting it and just being like, I don't want to really know what exactly the details were, and just,
Yeah. And Katrina totally understands. So, just for the sake of argument, does Roy have a printer?
Yeah.
Okay, so you print those out. You get the belt, and Katrina says, if we read these texts to him and we show him the belt, and we mention Mark Dupree's name, then he'll know, and then I'll just sort of take care of the rest. If he resists after that, I can push him along the way, and then I'll speak to you guys and tell you what to say. He won't hear me; he'll hear you. And then if I start to go overboard, just rein me in. Please don't let me kill him, because A, I don't want that, and B, if he dies, I honestly don't know what happens to me after that. I have a bad feeling.
Right? Why not? Okay. I think probably this thing is I'm sure between our resources and everything we find this guy.
Yeah, she knows how to find him.
Yeah, well, like definitely with this out. Like there's no.
Yeah.
And probably a way to contact him would get his cell phone number.
Yeah.
And I think what do you guys think about? We could start texting these text messages to them until he responds.
Well, eventually he's going to say something there.
I mean, it freaks out. Yeah, we got burned things. Yeah, I think we use a burner phone and text him this stuff until he responds, and then when he responds, give him like the address and the time to be at the warehouse. And the basic, the obvious stuff of like how long to kind of shorthand this.
So, at first you don't get anything from the phone, and then Katrina has the bright idea of posting these texts on his Facebook.
Oh.
And that prompts a pretty fast response.
Okay.
So, after a minute, the various Facebook accounts that you guys use to post these, he blocks them. And then you get like a text from the original phone that you were using. It's like a very angry, all in caps, like, who the fuck is this, you know?
And all of the texts that we send are very calm. There's no like I know, there's no emotion put into it. It's like clinical because that's taken care of here. And it's the address and the time. I assume probably at night is what we're aiming for.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's around. Come alone. And then I think just or else. I'm like, really really bad at threatening, so I'm trying to plan that. Like, if somebody else said
If you,
like, this is completely out of.
you know, if you guys who have points in intimidation want to sort of lend a hand here, that
Yeah, y'all got an idea.
What happened to you? I got nothing into it. I can get right. I got 3 points. Heck yeah. And manipulation. Manipulation. That's how that's damn right. So, like, as he sits back and watches everyone go through the text and, try to figure out something intimidating to say or whatever, they don't think so. Real cool. Okay. That's 6.
well, yeah, unless you can give me anything specific that you want to say, it may lower your difficulty depending on what you. Otherwise, we can just, you don't even have to say anything. You can just make a straight manipulation, intimidation roll. But if there's anything right now, like specifically you want to say, like, and and here's what we're gonna do if you don't.
Yeah, I just want to say, you have your number.
Yeah, like, because like that's like we kind of have to threaten him with like, or we'll go public, because that's how we're gonna get him to do. You know what I mean? So it's like, I want to kill you if you don't kill yourself. Like, why would
So, like, then also, we know how to get a hold of you. And we know how to do more than that. And then he's going to take a picture of his hand holding the belt and send that as well, saying, and you'll say, we know how you use this. We can use it worse.
Nice.
Diff 5. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that means after he passes the phone back, it's going to say, you know what? I'll be well around the field, so this guy is bringing me up to me actually from people.
Okay, so yeah, he is kind of vague about it, but he doesn't specifically say he's not going to show up. So you get the feeling that it's at the very least worth your time to go tonight.
Oh, I want to work on something. When he sends the picture, he's going to say, come to the office. I'm lonely. Or I'm paying your mother. And that goes with the picture of the
All right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you guys. Shall we just skip to the? Shall we just skip to the warehouse, or do you want to do something before that?
So I think, like, yes, but I think we just set up stuff like, we're not, like, waiting in there for him. inside there is like a sign or something we set up that's basically like sit in the because we'll make sure that no one else came within the building within command.
Right on.
We should set up a chair or something that says sit and wait, and it's got one of those like contractor spotlights. You know,
Right.
when it's plugged in, it's pointing at the chair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think from there, yeah, I'm gonna find. Well, I mean, it'll be Becky up front, right?
Yeah, I don't want to log it. It's pretty fun.
I mean, by the same token, though, I mean, Daniel's got the high intimidation and manipulation.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is gonna meet back last time. I mean, if you wanna try it again.
Yeah, this might be like a vandal. Yeah.
That's gonna take some.
Yeah. I mean, I can do that.
We gotta cut it in hand and line, work out. And, I mean, with, crap. He's got the 1,000 yards there, and he's going, we'll pull it on. But, I just thought normally I've been doing the gymnastics for the last 3 days. Like, things like that, and things like, if you want to get it, you get out of it. It was a lot of fun. Okay, yeah, fine. Then after sometimes you see, after, you know, a little bit of training pressure, a little bit of, you know, like insistent pressure, then the finally throws up his hands and says, fine. Fine, I can do it. And then later he would intelligent. He said it himself. All right, well, I'm doing it. I'll Captain.
So what we're worried about is Vandal just losing his temper.
We're just getting so into it.
There's the threat is twofold. One is Vandal losing.
Mechanical thing.
Yeah.
And like, I don't remember exactly, but I feel like we established that's something that, like, for whatever reason, Ease can't affect.
No, it was okay. So the thing about Ease is he has to be willing to listen. And if you use Ease while he's willing to listen, and he seems to be willing to listen now, then it will suppress his derangements for like the next X number of scenes, where X is the number of successes you roll. The reason it didn't work on him last time was because he was not willing to listen. He was very, in a different state of mind. The second threat is Katrina losing control, and if Vandal's emotions spike into the red, they could potentially influence Katrina to lose control.
Fortunately, other than, you know, most of those, you know, issues, you know, they're not directly at people. But he's, when it comes to people, he's much better at handling, you know, keeping himself from getting nuts. He can keep in his right mind, you know, aware when he's dealing with people.
Right, but remember the very thing that turned you into, quote, the Vandal in the first place was a very, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And, you know, on the mechanical end, like, if Katrina gets out of control, I mean, I've got Insinuate, which is pretty much custom tailored to that sort of situation.
Yeah.
And right now, Roy is sitting on 9 conviction.
Right. So this is going to be a very crucial moment for Roy. Like Roy is crucial to this plan working without.
It's the pressure dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll try Eve. On Vandal.
Yeah, dude.
Because the only arrangement he has is the one that we're going to be relying on. Because what set him off is Berserk state, that's his background.
That's what it was. That
Yeah, yeah. Okay, now I get what you mean.
Right. So, the rock is flying off the handle temple.
And conversely, the background berserk isn't triggered by humans.
It's only triggered by Linda.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so then like we initially set up for watching the film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, then I think we can probably skip forward to what I presume is going to be us coming in to him sitting in the spotlight. I mean, unless there's a surprise waiting for us, probably we didn't see anyone come within.
No, I'm gonna say like you guys get there before him,
Right.
but
We're hiding in the shadows. We're gonna sit down.
Yeah, because like we're not, yeah, we're not going to be like waiting inside for him to potentially walk in with the cops or something.
right.
Yeah, we're getting him to come in and sit for a minute so that we can make sure nobody followed him, and then we'll.
Okay, so let me just move you guys.
Well, the way I'd want to play this out is when the guy comes in and sits, like let him sit there, you know, for a while,
Uh-huh.
and then what's going on, you want to come sit there like a good 5 minutes, not going over,
Uh-huh.
and then we'll step like into, you know, slowly step into the circle of light, and you know, spotlight with the chair, and sit down directly in front of him. And then we'll go from there.
You gonna mask up or anything?
Um, just a mask over his,
Don't forget, if you're gonna use the 1,000-yard stare, all he needs to see are your eyes.
exactly, so it's going to be like a mask. Right, which I actually got four balls on red shoes. It's like a 1980s like that. My mask is up to me.
Well, where he's just like, and you bleach it so it's like in Halloween. Yeah.
What do I do? Like classic balaclava, where it's like the one stripe over his eyes.
Yeah.
Showing.
All right.
And it'll be like leather jacket, gloves, balaclava, and he'll be just holding the belt.
So Roy's going to have Katrina. I assume Katrina is attached to Cherry. Is the most emotionally stable one of us?
At the moment, yeah. Here, let me move you guys. Let me move you guys over.
Okay.
I'll let you guys. Yeah.
Our second home. Yeah, save this map. I have a feeling we're going to. Yeah. So, right with Carrie and Katrina, this is on Katrina duty. When he's given the signal clicker, the dog clicker, to Becky, if the guy runs,
Mm-hmm.
like it's one click and indicating the guy is like she wouldn't have to make a roll. That's an ingrained command in them to chase
Mm-hmm.
without bringing down.
So you guys are waiting for him to walk in?
Yep.
All right. After waiting there for some time, and it's very quiet, a car pulls up. The engine goes for a little while in part, and the lights stay on in part. And then after a couple of minutes, the engine is cut, the lights go off, the driver's side door opens, and a guy walks out and like his head darts around from one side to the other, and then when he's satisfied that he doesn't see anyone, he walks into the warehouse. And you guys said you posted a sign?
Yep.
All right. What is the sign?
Like areas, some like wide list of areas and so to the office. Well, it's all dark inside. We've got the one spot. It's a focal point.
I can lock the brain.
Oh, sorry, guys. I got to the office first.
Like a 2-year-old. Well, as long as they're going.
I need Mariah to be on the screen. How do we do that?
Yeah, that's up to you.
I think it's probably can come with a crate.
I mean, I think that I think the other thing is just kind of anchored to the sharing that sharing might be sharing in like a willpower struggle. You know what I mean? So it might not be, that she's just there because Katrina can ride along. It might be that Katrina gets agitated, Sherry, I need you to make a willpower check.
Yep.
And then it's like Roy had the idea for all this and kind of set it in motion, so I kind of want him to be, if shit goes south, he's got the edges to handle her. But, yeah, I think that's how I do it anyway. Okay. Back. Alright. What is this? We're talking about how to make sure that Sherry has an active role. Okay. Brian, anything, fine.
There's a small part of me that really is that pull it back to college to give it a better fit than me. You can put on this like it makes absolutely no sense. Like, oh, that's sexy. No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't.
This is what you wanted. I tried to make an Instant Pot thing out of a Crock Pot recipe that's tried and true, and the Instant Pot conversion was like, it was like a 70% out of the 100 that we've done in the Crock Pot, and then you just fucking nailed it tonight, and I'm just like, bullshit. Because I screwed up and you knew why am I mad at them? Because it is the point of this.
Okay, sorry, but no worries. So, Kendra.
Yeah.
I feel like I posted the song earlier, but more of a thinking about the song there in the chat. I feel like that's when Becky is in like when she's like hit her stride, with these moments and is like in full Raquel mode. You want to put it that way? Yeah, she has full Raquel. I feel like that's just the song that will be playing at the meeting.
What's happening?
That could be in like a modern, which it's so weird to say modern. Like Mean Girls, if they really Mean Girls right now, that's exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, it's weird to say modern because Mean Girls was only like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Dude, you know what I just realized? No, you're old enough for Jennifer Garner's younger self to sort of quantum leap into. You are like, so So right now, like, you are 3 days away from your 13-year-old self. As opposed to now, where you're like so neutral. Yeah.
So wait, we're thinking about this, the way we've got this set up,
Mm-hmm.
and if Katrina starts to go, she starts to get worked up, because she's anchored to Cherry, like, it would make sense for Cherry to kind of be involved, and, like, it feels like Roy isn't there to, like, handle this, he's there if shit goes bad, and ultimately, like, kind of working back and forth with willpower and stuff, probably going to be Cherry.
Here's the thing, though. Would she have? So yeah. So Katrina explains that while the desk helps, and she's managed to sort of, like, she does air quotes around this, stay afloat on it. And while she can ride around with a willing participant, she looks kind of ashamed as she says this. But I'm pretty sure that Shannon is the main thing I'm clinging to. So even if Cherry were to just leave, just get in the car and drive away, I could still stay in proximity to Shannon. And then you grasp that basically Shannon is her primary anchor.
Right. Hello.
So yeah, like I get I get what you were going for there, but yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay. Jump in.
Yeah, I mean he's gone into the warehouse at this point.
Okay. Yeah.
I should have set up some dynamic lighting for this.
I think Roy makes a sweep around the building.
Okay.
Just to see if anybody is with him. He checks the car or two. To see if he's set up anything, or if there's like a hey, there's a gun case in here with no gun in it, that sort of thing. To see if there's anything that would tip off that he's doing more than just complying with what was told him.
Can the dogs smell like guns or gunpowder or whatever is from scary?
I imagine they could try. They're not specifically trained for that. But I imagine I could make an animal pen roll to convey that and then make it give it a shot. Probably difficult doing, but
Yeah, if they're not specifically trained for that, I don't know how they would even convey to you. Like, I don't know what you would command them to do, and I don't know how they would convey to you that, like, he has a firearm.
Well, like, they're trying to speak things out, but they're trying to speak out people, so, like, it's sort of associated, but, yeah, like, normally for something like that, you have to train the dog to be, like, a sweeper.
I mean, even if there doesn't go, when Vandal goes up like this, he's gonna have fun with him. Like, I think that would be best.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay. And then we'll take Rick and Max as backup for Chase duty or something.
And Katrina is going to follow close behind you. Like, you'll be able to see her, but she assures you that Shannon won't.
Okay.
Jamie, what's your... Oh, God damn it. Oh, fucking... How about now?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, yeah.
Okay, Vandal's inside? Or is that just right for his token?
That's where he put his token.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're starting off with everybody.
I mean, I just want to figure, yeah. It's like they could walk in hoping to just shoot whoever it is, and, you know what I mean? Like, we can have them on our terms.
Okay. Yeah, you search the perimeter, and you search his car, and you don't find anything in the car. Like, it's locked, so...
Sure, yeah, it's looking into the window.
Yeah, you search the perimeter and don't find anything.
Okay.
So is Ben like understand basic commands from me, like sit, stay, sort of thing?
Yes. Yeah, all the dogs have like all the basic commands, and then they have a few special ones that you shouldn't need to roll for. It's basically chase, find, guard, or to be quiet. So like they can go in stealth mode basically. But like they have certain behaviors that they do for each one, but they're generally along those lines. So it's like if you need to catch someone who's running or fight someone or something like that, like chase kind of covers off.
Gotcha.
Okay. You can think of it kind of like World of Warcraft pet modes.
Katrina offers to go in first and get a look just to see if he's, you know, armed or planning something or whatever.
Sure.
Okay.
Randall agrees since there's I'm looking scared too long.
She nods wordlessly. She disappears for a minute. And then she comes back. And she says with a bitter sigh, "He's got a gun." But if you go in there and if you wait for him to pull it, I can get it out of his hand. I can take the gun out of play.
Pulls up his keys and he's got a laser pointer. Yeah, and Steve's a Vandal understands.
Well, he nods a rolling for Katrina's sake. He says, go in, quiet, put that dog right on his chest, and then I'll go in as soon as he gets the picture.
Wait, you're giving the laser pointer to Katrina?
No, so Lloyd
Yeah.
would, shine the point on things. That's definitely not a thing.
Right, yeah, we're bluffing that he's exactly correct.
Okay. So, all right. This is going to require a stealth roll from Roy and a motherfucking subterfuge roll on Vandal's part.
Yeah, I'll do the stuff.
Manipulation subterfuge?
Actually, I better make that roll for you, man, because it'll be resisted.
Okay.
And hide doesn't work on
Difficulty 6.
Yes. Hide doesn't work on non-supernaturals.
Hey, for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Combine with
Dan, what's your manipulation specialty?
Evocative.
Okay. That's provocative, Kendra.
Yeah, that's weird.
Okay.
My best friend from Stranger Things impression.
That was good. Oh my god. That whole that whole season. I'm sorry, you ate my cat. Yeah. Okay. So Shannon all of a sudden perceives a dot on his chest, but he doesn't see where it's coming from. He draws the gun and shouts, "What the fuck is this? Come out right the fuck now!"
The trainer said if he has the gun option.
Yeah, so suddenly you hear, it's almost like an electrical generator powering or like static building up, but very quickly, and then suddenly there is, a zzz, and he shouts in pain, and the gun flies out of his hand. He quickly moves to try to pick it up, though. So while he's doing that, maybe make your move.
While he's doing that, Daniel's going to, not around the light yet, but he's going to move quickly from the shadows. Now, don't fucking move.
Are you trying to intimidate him? Okay, roll an intimidation roll.
So how do you assist?
Are you also trying to intimidate?
No, but I'm not from Benny. You just make the same check, or?
Does do the dogs have? I imagine they must have at least 1 point in intimidation. Yeah, you just make the same check, same difficulty too. Yeah. Oof.
Okay, so the dog helps.
Yeah. All right. He backs up and he sort of stumbles, starts to stumble over the chair.
Once he's seated.
Well, he hasn't sat down yet. He's just like, he backed into it and he almost tripped. And he's like, "Yo, what the fuck is this, man?" What the fuck do you want from me?
Sit down.
God damn, your voice is adorable. He sits down. I don't know what the fuck you think you know, man, but you can't prove shit.
He's got the belt right tied in his right hand, and he picks up a wooden little chair in his lap. He stares at Shannon. I know plenty, and we're going to have a chat about it. The driver unfolds the chair, sits, and then he looks at Green, and then points at Shannon. Watch it.
That is on. Growling and striking in front of him.
And there's a lecture, intimidation to this. Oh, I forgot the last one. There was a manipulation for just staring down for a second. Intimidation for that. Special extra price. One. No specialty. After that, 6. Definitely spending willpower on this.
Nice. So this is your intimidation?
It's professional to just staring down.
Right.
Okay, and you're not saying anything?
Yeah, just stare.
Okay.
Oh my God.
He fidgets in the chair. He shakes. He looks from side to side. And like after a moment or two of awkward silence, he cracks and he's like, "Man, fucking say something! What the fuck is this?"
Reynolds gonna, wait for a few beats. He says that. And he holds up the belt. And he says, not a question. You recognize this. You believe. You remember what you did with this, don't you?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
You know it.
Man, what the fuck? I don't even know what. One second.
Fingers no good.
Yeah.
I don't think so. He's a monster.
Yeah. He's like, man, I don't know what you think you know, but I don't appreciate you getting into my business or digging up old memories, man. That shit's between me and her. And how dare you use her memory to try to get at me, man. I don't know what the fuck you think you know, but you don't know shit. But he's like sweating and like tears are starting to roll down his cheeks at this point. So make another manipulation, intimidation roll.
And while I was watching, just a little bit, I'm going to give a perception empathy check
Mm-hmm.
to see, how, like, how honest I guess he's being in this reaction. Like what I was making sure is like if he's just saying these things to try to not like confess, or like is is there actually something else going on?
Make the roll.
And turning the light on. Oh,
Okay.
Difficult to 6.
Yeah. Yeah, he's full of shit.
Okay.
He's stalling, like he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, he's the kid who's been taught is like, I don't know anything.
Yeah, he really doesn't know what he's supposed to do in this situation. So he knows like he's caught, but he doesn't know what you guys want from him, basically.
so Randall looks down at the bell. And then he moves it over, holds it in both hands, and then tracks it. You know, like how I can do with the belt, I can hold it over.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he does that, he stands straight up out of his chair, like hard enough to see his chair flying back.
Shannon jumps in his chair, and he lets out like a little squeal.
I will say this again. Giant power wins.
Very, very meekly and quietly, he says, Katrina. Katrina! I didn't mean to! I just got so mad. I didn't. He's at this point fully sobbing, and then the lights start to flicker, and he's through the tears saying, I'm sorry, Katrina, I'm sorry. And then the lights fully go off, and suddenly there is almost kind of a spotlight, and you look over Shannon's shoulder, and you see Katrina. Well, you see her silhouette in the spotlight. For whatever reason, her features are dulled and blurry. And you hear, and this pierces your soul, Shannon. And like, there's not a lot of light. There's just, the light from the spotlight, but through the darkness, you can just barely see his eyes go wide. Shannon, look at me. He curls into the fetal position and shouts, no, 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 no. Look at me, Shannon. And then stuff in the room starts to rumble and vibrate.
Right, puts the laser pointer back to the speed and starts coming forward, mentally cracking his knuckles.
Right.
And so, like, lowers the up and holds it behind his back and then takes a step back. And really
start something happens.
Very, very, very slowly, Shannon turns around, and then you see Katrina is suddenly on top of him, and she reaches her hands out, and her fingers touch Shannon's temples. And the lights start to flicker back on in the warehouse, but they're like very sporadically and very violently going on and off. Stuff is rumbling inside the warehouse, and Shannon begins to scream.
Laura steps forward and uses insinuate. Katrina.
Okay. Can you... Actually, it's right here in the thing.
It's basically to confront them with their humanity.
You know, I know. I need to mechanically look at the edge. Because I need to know what I'm...
Manipulation controversy, it makes the thing that they're doing or about to do more difficult. It penalizes it adds to their difficulty based on the number of successes I get. If you get a bunch of successes, like, I don't know, whatever you consider, 4 or 5, or, you know, whenever we get those rolls, we're like, holy shit, we just nailed it. It has
Right.
potential to actually, like, change the
Okay. Yeah.
affect the mind people.
Roll... Before you do that, roll another perception empathy.
Okay. See what you can tell actually doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She's applying pressure, but you've been around Katrina enough to know. I mean, this is out of character for her from what you've seen, but
She's not killing me.
she's not killing him. No, her face seems very controlled, like focused, determined, you know, even somewhat angry, but not murderous. Yeah.
I guess that check now is just to see if she does go over the edge, and so it'll just be quite prepared for you.
That makes perfect sense. So, no worries. So he's scrambling around, and he's screaming, and he starts screaming, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! I'm sorry! Stop it! Stop it!" And after, say, the 10th time he's screamed, "Stop it," she lets go and takes a step back. And she looks at Roy, like, pleadingly, and, well, pleadingly but angrily. Like, her eyes look a little... It's a disturbing look she gives you, and bits of her physical form, her clothing, and her skin are starting to distort. And while that's happening, suddenly Shannon lunges for his gun.
Okay, so Ben's been watching him, so Ben should be able to react to this.
Okay.
Yep. And I imagine it's probably Dex and Brawl to, like, grab him before he does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Brian, did you forget about Ben?
No, I didn't forget about Ben.
Okay.
You forget about Trey?
No one ever forgets about Dre.
What about
You guys don't have to worry about Bob for another 2 days. I never actually saw it. Oh yeah, yeah. All right. So Ben stops Shannon from grabbing for his gun, but that doesn't stop him from trying. He's in pain, and he's like with the other hand, he's just like slapping the ground, and he's just keeps barely missing his gun. Yeah, you do so successfully. He's like, no, man, no. Kill me, man. Kill me, please.
We're not going to go. In fact, we're going to keep you safe. And do you know where the safest place in the world is?
Ben is biting him so much that he's screaming too loud to really hear you.
Kind of like reaches down in the house.
I like them. That's something.
Okay. So now Shannon is just like cradling his arm and like rocking back and forth in the fetal position. Oh, and Roy, bits of like tendrils are starting to grow off of Katrina's physical manifestation.
Is this? Can I tell anything on what's happening here?
You can either guess or make a perception empathy roll. Up to you.
I mean, it looks like she's poltergeisting out, but like that's what the other check before. So, get a heads up.
Well, that was then,
Okay.
and yeah, it like she was keeping it together, and then like the longer this is dragged out, the harder it's getting for her. Especially since her primary anchor is emotionally so.
So there's that.
Okay. Doodly doo. What did it say? Like a resounding number of successes is something like 5 or 6.
Well, that's for insinuate. That's just the perception empathy.
Oh yeah, she's the perception empathy roll. Was the 3 successes?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's about to she's about to whiplash like from restraint to not restraint.
All right. And yeah. Okay. And insinuate that you're feeling to thing. I think where she's kind of becoming more threatening to things.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to approach her very much with the like, "You're okay, I trust you." So like, if she does go crazy and attack, Ryan ain't got no defense. But it's hoping we can get her down before that happens.
Okay, go ahead and make the roll.
I'll do that last. Nothing rules. Information mercy.
How much conviction are you risking for this?
100% of it.
Like all 9?
All 9. It's important.
Big.
Um, 18 days.
See, that's why. Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Well, no, like, what's your normal thing without risking conviction?
Manipulation, it'd be 9 dice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He'd still have 1 success. That's the thing is like, yeah.
It's the 1.
Yeah. So what did it say? What, like, how many do you have to get for a resounding success?
So it doesn't say like if you get X number, it just says like an extraordinary number. And I think it leaves that vague so that the storyteller can decide if like the drama of the moment, you know what I mean? Because the idea is that each success increases the difficulty of what the target's trying to do. And I imagine the obvious thing is if like the difficulty is like 7, for example. Or like, let's say it's like 8, right? If that difficulty increases by 3, it's now statistically unattainable. Right? So that would certainly be one way of evaluating it. But like, if she's not doing something that requires a check, then I think it's up to you if 3 is enough.
Actually, at this point, between her willpower and your insinuate, she stops vibrating, stops tendriling out, and like sort of coalesces back into normal Katrina form. She still looks pretty angry, though.
Reading the situation, being like, holy flip this big thing. Hey, damn it. Oh, look at it. We're mad. You committed a big crime. Something that you feel guilty for. Something that you know you have to pay for. You've just brought it to your attention. And now it's time for you to do the right thing. And killing yourself isn't the right thing. You know what the right thing is, Shannon?
He just looks at you through tears, unable to articulate words.
The right thing to do would be to confess to the police. Tell them everything. Give them every little bit of evidence. And then he holds up the bullet and says, except for this. We'll be really missed. Everything else, including the name of the guy who got the weapons from, everything. Give them everything. And all will be, well, not forgiven, at least something else. You'll be safe. I won't mess with you. My dog won't mess with you. Most importantly, Katrina won't mess with you. Do you have an understanding?
At the mention of Katrina's name, like he spazzes out a little bit again. And then he nods furiously. One sec. Sorry. Good. It occurs to you that he's in no shape to drive himself, and maybe you should drop him off in front of the nearest precinct.
Oh, yeah. And, so he shakes his head curiously, and Admiral says, well, Shannon, I need you to say it. Do you understand?
Yes.
So, you understand.
I understand.
And then he like gets him like a few smacks on the cheek. Now, let's get you down there. Have a few conversations.
He is emotionally drained, and offers no resistance. If you don't mind, I'm just going to sort of fast forward this next part because we're running out of time.
So
You guys drive him down to the precinct. He stumbles in, doesn't even try to like get away. Katrina follows him in after she promises to you guys that she's not going to try anything. She just wants to make sure that he doesn't try anything.
Since we're dropping him off, Vandal does give her the book. And since he's wearing gloves, it's still a little prints on it, a little bit his.
Yeah, okay. Good call. So Katrina comes back out 30 minutes later or so, and she very quietly says, he started ranting like a lunatic, just like, I killed her, I killed her. And he started waving the belt around. And he sobbed for a few minutes, and they took him into custody, and you know, they tried to get him to write it out, and then that wasn't working, so they turned on a camera and they recorded a confession. He gave up Mark, and he told them everything about how he made it look like I had killed myself. He confessed to everything. It's over. She begins to cry, like not sobbing, you know, like, or anything like that, but just ethereal tears just stream down her face.
Even though it's probably not going to work because she's ethereal, Roy goes to give her home.
Your hands and her form sort of like coalesce, and even though you are essentially hugging air, you can feel it emotionally. You can't feel the physical component of this hug, but you both feel it emotionally, and you feel both her her sadness, you know, from dragging all of this up from so long ago. You feel her relief. You feel her fear, kind of her apprehension, but mostly what you feel is relief coming from her. She says, I never thought this day would come. And she looks at all of you and she says, I can't thank you enough. I can never repay you for what you've done for me.
Vandal, patches the holes around the lightning stuff. We don't need to. Nothing's necessary. They're one of us. And we'll do it for any one of us.
So, Vandal and Roy, give yourselves each a willpower point. You know, in addition to the ones that you'll get from a full night of sleep. Roy, give yourself an extra conviction point from this. I know you're already at 10 at this point, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm going to exchange it and I'll be at 4 instead of my starting 3.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wait, really? You're starting? Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, for a dinner.
So you're at 4. Everybody gets 3 XP. And Vandal, did you text her? You know what? You get a call on your phone because you remembered that you actually, during the house party, you drunkenly texted Jay. And he is now getting back to you. He's calling you because Jay is old and still uses a phone like a phone. Yeah, and it's weird, isn't it? And that's where we will end. Yep. Well done, guys.
So did Katrina vanish? I feel like this is where movie Katrina said her goodbye.
No, she did not. You do. Because and she we've got a few minutes. Basically, she says,
like, is this like a she can move on but doesn't want to?
yes. That's exactly what this is.
I found peace, but I don't want to be.
Yeah, because not only does she feel indebted to you guys, but even if she didn't, she kind of feels like what you guys are doing is the right thing to do. And it's kind of like she feels like she could try to move on, but yeah, she doesn't really want to. She just feels like there's more to be done, but she's not afraid of it anymore. Like, she was afraid she would never see Shannon face justice. So she would never get to move on. She would be stuck here because of that. But now that that is over, basically what is keeping her here is her own decision to help you guys. Yeah. Well, you might. Yes, I do. Yeah.
Right, 100% agree. Even make that joke.
Well, thanks, John. I mean, like, we did high five, as a matter of fact. Wait, what did you? And then there was corn? What does that mean? Damn it. Oh, I feel like I'm missing out on something. Dan, you were about to say something. I'm sorry.
I'm a private school.
Uh-huh.
So to really take away from the school and intimidation, I kind of want to argue for that.
I mean, I give it to you. I mean, you did that last thing awesome.
If you guys don't object, I'm going to give Dan the 4th XP point.
Oh, totally.
Okay.
I was like, I didn't want to break the rules, but I really wanted to type in the chat, like, I love it when Dan, like, takes himself off the leash for this character.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
When Dan's Batman.
Yeah, when Dan's Batman.
And for some sports and specialty, I'm really going back and forth between veiled threats and fear inspiration.
Oh, dude. Veiled Threats is more Travis's thing. Fear Inspiration, totally Vandal's thing.
Okay.
Like Travis's move is like, this is a really nice nightclub you have, Mr. Vampire. It'd be a real shame if like a bunch of my hunter friends were to come in and burn it down. Whereas Vandal's thing is absolutely like rope snaring someone upside down, hung from their ankle, and then shouting at them like, "Where were the drugs going?" Yeah.
And another character right at the same connection and changed it and picked up the point in vision
Ooh,
and has picked up 4C.
neato.
Yeah, so you can, yeah, sure I'll do sometimes. And from XP, right, with the XP and send it to half as willpower.
That's fine. You guys can all spend XP now if you want. We can go over it, or you can, hoard it like you're continuing to do, or it's up to you. It's no judgment. I mean, you guys play this how you want. Like, if you want to just level up once a season, completely up to you.
Like it goes to bed one day and then comes downstairs for breakfast the next morning, and she's like Summer from Rick and Morty, where they get super swole and beat up the dude.
That is not what happens. She spends one day in a cocoon and then hatches. Wait, what?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, Hillary grows for her constant appearance, and then she comes down the stairs just positively glowing.
Just freaking Galadriel.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, like, nice. Becky now has angel wings made of fire. Damn. Yeah, she's just Jem from Jem and the Holograms. No, I always just picture her as just got these pastel hair colors. Like, one week it's blue, one week it's pink, one week it's purple. Yeah.
That doesn't need an actual day job, and I can literally do whatever I want with my parents because nobody's trying to hire me.
Okay, so we've got that out of the way. So next time we deal with a phone call from Jay. And we could next Monday. Yeah.
That's why I don't stuff works out for you guys. Yeah, I should be able to do every Monday.
Cool.
My intimidation rules involve an eye contact and manipulation. Yeah, 9 dice.
Vandal can burst the blood vessels in his eyes at will now.
One second. One thing.
Sure.
If any of you guys ever want a perfect example of like a flat-eyed thousand-red stare, just watch Tombstone. Val Kilmer's eyes. Like, oh, I love it. He's got so that one that out in the whole moonwalk. No, I love that movie. I was mostly amazed that Van didn't go eye to eye when we were playing Bear Pong for immediate advantage. Like intimidation and so this like a fresh shot. Sometimes look each other in the eye and not actually look at the customer. Whoever makes the first shot, and now I'm just like, oh man, I'm so glad we didn't play those games. Oh yeah. I mean, like, Brandon was into it, he was having a good time, but he was into it mad. I mean...
Well, no, I was figuring he would do the eye-to-eye thing, but then slowly run his tongue over his front teeth.
gross.
I feel like those are gonna be your wedding vows. Like your bride to be is gonna like say her wedding vows, and your response to them is gonna be gross.
Oh no.
I don't know when you go with that. I don't know, I'm perfectly asshole.
Did you tell them the story about what you said to him, and then he turned his mic off?
I forgot which chat I was in. What was that chat? What was our chat?
Okay.
We got the topic of the better.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
we got that friends on Tuesday.
That was hilarious.
That's the word for it. That was the time that happened.
Jay, what was that roll you just made with 5 successes?
So I've been forgetting that I've got a merit that gives you +2 when you roll using social attributes.
Mm-hmm.
And insinuate uses manipulation, so I actually should have rolled 20.
Oh well.
I just wanted to see what would happen. Yeah, I don't know, the game looks like this.
Yeah, of course. Game over.
-2 difficulty. Like enchanting voice with intimidated, just the sound of angels speaking.
Right? Yeah.
Not too terribly far off. The thing is,
Equally terrifying and beyond their ken. Right, and then so much like, no wonder the first thing they say is fear not.
you guys saw that? I think it was like a Tumblr post or something, and it was like, "Fear not," screams. I said, "Fear not," screams louder. I gotta say, like, for my own personal taste, if I were to role play angels in this game, I'd probably take the Fallen with Denzel Washington route and just have like random people on the balls. Kind of, except they don't transform. It's more of they just people on the street start talking to you, like as though, like in the yeah, and they possess people, and then those people just talk to you, like
it's half by touch.
Yeah.
Or possessed touching someone else, and now the gamer is the angel again.
Yeah. I always like that mechanic. Yeah. Also, I'm Jesus, did I fill up my fucking...
How they did Michael and Gabriel and Legion. I mean, just classic James Bond.